Another film I recently watched was The Bride, the 1985 film loosely adapted from Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, but mostly based around the second part of the novel. It begins with Baron Charles Frankenstein bringing the bride of this creature to life, but the event goes wrong. There is an explosion and a fire. His two assistants, played rather bizarrely by Quentin Crisp and Timothy Spall, are killed, and the monster is also presumed dead, but actually goes on the run. Frankenstein is left to raise the bride himself, treating her initially as an infant, but it becomes gradually clear that he's developing her into being some kind of make your own wife kit. Um, while the creature goes off on an adventure of his own, befriending the dwarf and joining the circus. Um, it's not very good. Um, Franc Roddam is now, his biggest lasting um, cultural contribution is not, in fact, directing this film, but creating MasterChef. And he was also the director of Quadrophenia and the producer of Auf Wiedersehen Pet. And it's funny how there are people from both those productions in here, because we have Timothy Spall as the Igor type figure at the beginning. Frankenstein himself is played by Sting, and there is a supporting role for Phil Daniels. Later on in the movie, in the completely irrelevant storyline of the creature's experiences in the circus and befriending this dwarf who encourages him to be more assertive, but it really doesn't really amount to anything. It's a good 40 minutes of material that could be removed, which adds nothing to the movie of any kind, which would leave you with a very trim hour and 10 or 15-minute film about Frankenstein being unpleasant. Jennifer Beals as the bride is, I think, rather good, actually. She starts off as struggling with walking and talking, things like that, and over the course of the story evolves into being intelligent and capable. But there's really nothing here that hasn't been done better before. If you're remaking The Bride of Frankenstein, you have to think of some way or some angle that makes it better and or different. And this film isn't sufficiently different, and it's not in any way better than James Whale's original. The thing that really sticks out is it's trying to be a modern feminist version of the story, and yet at the end the day is saved by the male monster who rescues the helpless bride. And it's the male characters who are all the prime movers. The female characters are all ultimately passive. Um, it's not well thought out in any way, and it's a film made entirely by a male creative team. As I said, there are some bizarre casting choices. Quentin Crisp, not an actor, plays effectively the counterpart for Dr. Polidori or Dr. Sartorius or whatever the character's name is in the original film. The eagle character is played by Timothy Spall. The dwarf is David Rappaport, who's actually very good. The creature is played by Clancy Brown, who again is very good, but it's not a sufficiently interesting or different version of the character. There's just not enough here to distinguish this film as being having any worthwhile nature to it. It's all just a bit half thought and half considered. And given that almost all of Sting's dialogue is dubbed by himself, it seems, it just looks like another attempt at trying to launch him as a movie star that doesn't work. There's a lot about this film that doesn't work, and really there's not enough here that does to justify watching it.